I ultimately kicked a 14-year-old girl out of my house at 1 a.m. And it all started with my daughter's slumber party. Last Saturday was my daughter Chloe's 14th birthday, and we threw her a sleepover party with 5 of her friends from school. There was one girl she invited, Madison, who from the moment she arrived, radiated the energy of a spoiled brat. When she rang the doorbell, she strolled in with her eyes glued to her phone, offering no greeting to me or my wife, Sarah. She just handed me her jacket, a dismissive flick of her wrist, without ever looking up. At that moment, Madison's dismissive attitude was just teenage brattiness, but she was completely unaware that this single display of disrespect would set in motion a night she would never forget. For the entire evening, she remained buried in her phone, doing whatever it is 14-year-olds do. I initially gave her the benefit of the doubt, thinking she might be shy or didn't know the other girls well, but Chloe had described her as a super-duper cool girl. Later that night, it was time for Chloe to open her gifts. With every single present, Madison had a comment. It wasn't overtly snarky, but it was a consistent, unimpressed tone that subtly poisoned the mood. The final gift was from Sarah and me. We had pooled our remaining extra money to buy her an iPhone 7. As Chloe unwrapped it, a genuine smile lit up her face, but from across the room, Madison scoffed loudly. She, of course, had the newest generation iPhone. I helped Chloe set up the new phone, and then the girls retreated to her room for the rest of the night. A short while later, however, I saw Chloe come downstairs and slump onto the couch. I asked her what was wrong. She just looked at me, her face a mask of disappointment, and said, "Why couldn't you have just bought me the newest iPhone?" Before heading back upstairs. This was completely out of character for her. She's a child who has always been deeply grateful for anything she receives. She had left her new phone on the table. A gut feeling made me pick it up, and what I saw made my blood run cold. She and Madison had exchanged numbers, and a string of texts laid out the whole story. "Congrats on the iPhone 7 haha," Madison had written. "Slumber parties are for little girls lol, but WTVS it's cool." Another text read, "I just wish I could go home lol," said the last one. This revealed Madison's greatest flaw, a casual cruelty disguised as coolness. A trait that would ultimately be her undoing that night. I saw how she had systematically dismantled my daughter's happiness on her own birthday. I wouldn't let someone disrespect my home or my family like that. It was around 1 a.m., but I knew I had to act. I went to Chloe's room, knocked, and asked to speak with Madison alone, trying my best not to embarrass my daughter in front of her other friends. Madison looked confused as I led her downstairs. I told her to call her mom. When she asked why, I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Because that's what you said, right? That you wish you could go home? So go." The color drained from her face as she realized I knew what she'd written. She started to tear up as she made the call. When her mother arrived, I showed her the texts. She was mortified, apologizing profusely and brushing it off as a teenager phase. She asked if Madison could just stay, but I knew it would make the entire house awkward and miserable for everyone, especially Chloe. I told her it was best if they left. My wife, Sarah, thought I overreacted. She argued I should have just talked to Madison instead of kicking her out. She felt I had let a 14-year-old bruise my ego, forcing a parent out in the middle of the night over what she saw as teen angst. But I firmly believe I did the right thing. It was my daughter's birthday, and I refused to let the rest of her night be ruined by a bully who was making it all about herself. That self-entitled girl needed someone to hold her accountable. My daughter may not see it now, but I did what she couldn't. I stood up to a bully for her. That said, a part of me worries about the fallout. Teenage girls can be vicious, and I can only hope Madison learned a lesson instead of deciding to lash out at Chloe at school because of what happened. Ultimately, standing up for your family against disrespect is paramount, but handling teenage social dynamics is a minefield. Did I teach a much-needed lesson in humility? Or did I overstep and potentially make things worse for my daughter in the long run? What would you have done?